I greet you in Jesus' precious name. I want to speak to you about the subject of humility. Humility. The humblest man that ever walked on the face of the earth was Moses, according to the Bible. And as some guy says, and this is just a joke, the softest part of Moses was his teeth. I don't think he was a soft man. Can you imagine trying to look after 1 million people? The Lord said the children of Israel were stiff-necked and arrogant. And not just for 1 week or 1 month, but for 40 years. In one of the most arid places on earth, where the temperature during the day goes over 50 degrees. And in the evening it goes to sub-zero. They had nothing. They were slaves, nothing. And God gave them food every morning, manna. You know what the word manna means? It means, what's that? That's a literal translation of the word manna. What's that? It was a beautiful, honey-flavored type of a wafer that they had to collect, and it was on the top of the plants and the grass in the morning. That man, they tried to kill him, not once. Moses, every time things got hard, why did you bring us here? Why didn't you leave us in Egypt? You talk about being ungrateful. The humblest man on earth. You know, folks, it's very hard sometimes to remain humble when people are really having a go at you. Or what's even worse is when people put you on a pedestal. I read a beautiful reading the other day where the writer says there are too many officers and not enough soldiers in the army of God. Think about that. Too many. He says we need more bayonets and less braid on our collars. More soldiers, foot soldiers, and less officers in the kingdom of God. Now, you probably heard of Count Zinzendorf. He was a very, very wealthy man. He was a landowner in, I think it was Bavaria, somewhere in Germany. He started the Moravian Church, sent missionaries all over the world. Now, John Wesley heard about him, and John Wesley wanted to get closer to God. So he wrote a letter to find out if he could come and learn from Count Zinzendorf. And reluctantly, that's what humble people are normally like, Count Zinzendorf allowed him to come. Now, John Wesley had studied at Oxford University, and he had a Master of Arts degree in theology. So he wasn't a foot soldier. He was an officer in God's army, so to speak. And when he arrived, the first job that Count Zinzendorf gave to John Wesley was to work in the garden. That's right. He worked in the garden for about 6 months. He was most put out. He came to learn about the things of God from Count Zinzendorf and was put to work in the garden. William Duma, a Zulu preacher with an incredible ministry, especially healing. He went up to a church very close to where I lived in Zambia. It was a Sunday morning, a typical Baptist church where you walk in through the back door, the pulpit's in the front, and all the people sit on either side. And they were waiting. 9 o'clock, the pastor was waiting. The man of God from Zululand hadn't arrived. William Duma. He was already trying to get a sermon out. And then he heard a faint knock on the back door. You know, where the cleaning lady comes in? And he went through the curtain, through the vestry to the back door, and opened the door. There was the man of God, servant of the Lord. Not coming in the grand entrance, coming in the servant's quarter. That's a sign of a man of God. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to be great in the kingdom of God? You must be prepared to be the least. Jesus bless you and goodbye.